When an ancient demon is awakened, a group of brave souls must uncover dark secrets and battle malevolent forces to save their loved ones and protect their homeland. From eerie rituals to heart-pounding confrontations, EXHUMA delivers an unforgettable cinematic experience. Will they succeed in their quest, or will the demon's wrath consume them all? Get ready to be on the edge of your seat. The film begins with Hua Rim, a renowned shaman, and her apprentice, Bon Gil. They are called upon by the Park family, a wealthy Korean-American family residing in Los Angeles. From the airport, Park's assistant takes them to the hospital, where they are introduced to Mrs. Park, who looks at them with suspicion. Her newborn son suffers from a mysterious illness that baffles doctors. Through her rituals, Hua Rim discerns a vengeful spirit attached to the family, a restless ancestor's wrath calling from the grave. At the Park's house, Mr. Park reveals that every child in their family has faced similar problems for years. His brother, who also faced many issues, committed suicide while in a mental hospital. After his brother's death, Mr. Park and his child began experiencing problems. Hua Rim assures them that everything will be fine, but explains that she needs more people for this job as she cannot do it alone. The scene shifts to Korea, where Hua Rim assembles a unique team. This team includes Kim Sang-deok, a feng shui expert who navigates the energies of burial grounds, and Yong-gun, a seasoned mortician with a dry wit who provides unexpected comic relief amid the horror. Bon Gil and Hua Rim arrive and explain the situation to the Park family, revealing that a family ancestor was buried in the wrong place, causing his restless spirit to torment new generations. Hua Rim believes that the solution lies in exhuming and reburying the corpse according to proper rituals. Mr. Park arrives in Korea and meets Kim. Kim asks for information about Mr. Park's grandfather for the ritual they are about to perform. They need to prepare documents with correct information and obtain permission from the district office. However, Mr. Park is evasive, insisting that no one should know about this and that the body cannot be taken out of the coffin. He takes them to see his grandfather's grave, located on a high mountain. The sight looks strange to everyone. Kim notices a tree around which many foxes are roaming, which is a bad omen. Kim examines the stone on top of the grave, noticing strange numbers instead of a name inscription. He asks Mr. Park why his grandfather was buried in such a place. Mr. Park explains that a famous monk named Jisun recommended this to his father as the grave location. Kim then asks why the grave is so simple. Mr. Park replies that grave robberies were common at the time, so they kept the grave simple. Kim, disbelieving, refuses to do the job, saying that touching the wrong grave could be deadly due to the negative energy present. Mr. Park's wife had 2 miscarriages, and after much trouble, they finally had a son. Kim, understanding Mr. Park's desperation as a father, asks if he is hiding something. Mr. Park denies it. Hua Rim suggests performing a ritual to reduce the negative energy and balance the positive and negative energies. After much discussion, Kim agrees. The next day, preparations for the ritual begin, despite objections from Mr. Park's aunt, who attends the ritual. The ritual commences, and Mr. Park strikes the grave 3 times. Hua Rim performs an energetic dance while Bon Gil beats a drum. Finally, the coffin is found, and it is evident that it belonged to a royal family. The coffin is extracted and lifted onto a car. As everyone leaves the site, one worker remains to level the soil of the grave. While working, he sees a strange, headless snake. Terrified, he kills the snake, and for a moment, the snake's head takes on a human face and screams. Suddenly, the entire atmosphere changes, signaling the presence of something ominous. It starts raining heavily, making it impossible to rebury the coffin. The coffin is temporarily kept in a hospital. Kim, suspicious, goes to a nearby temple to investigate. There he meets a man who tells him that treasures were said to be hidden under those graves, leading to many grave robberies. He shows Kim some tools used by those who came to steal. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the caretaker, tempted by the treasure, tries to open the coffin. Bon Gil and Hua Rim arrive just as a powerful energy bursts out from the coffin, causing Hua Rim to fall ill. When Kim comes to the hospital to see Hua Rim, she tells him that Mr. Park's grandfather's spirit has emerged with great power from the coffin. The scene then shifts to America, where Mr. Park's father is sitting by the window, deep in thought. Suddenly, he hears his father's voice telling him to open the door. Hearing the voice, he opens the window, and as the spirit enters, It kills both him and his wife. Hua Rim informs Mr. Park about everything and tells him to save himself. Meanwhile, Mr. Park receives a call from Kim, who explains the situation. At the same time, Mr. Park hears a knock on the door. It is Kim on the phone and also at the door. The Kim on the phone tells Mr. Park not to open the door because his grandfather's spirit is there and instructs him to open the window instead. Confused, Mr. Park opens the window. Kim then enters through the door, and Mr. Park is already possessed by the spirit of his grandfather. The spirit of Mr. Park's grandfather tells him that during the war between Korea and Japan, he was a Korean general who betrayed Korea for wealth and sided with Japan. As a result, the family became wealthy, but no one remembered him or performed any rituals for his peace. His descendants lived comfortably in America with the wealth he had amassed, but he had been in torment for 100 years, driving him to kill his own bloodline. Mr. Park's last words were that the fox cut off the tiger's waist. The spirit then kills Mr. Park and moves on to kill his child. Kim tells Mr. Park's aunt that they need to burn the coffin immediately, or the spirit will kill the child and the entire family. Mr. Park's aunt gives them permission. As the coffin begins to burn, the spirit weakens and eventually vanishes. It seems like everything is back to normal, but the real story is yet to unfold. Kim learns about a worker who has been ill for a long time and goes to meet him. The man tells him that since the day he killed the snake with a human head, he has been sick and has had many frightening dreams. Kim returns to the grave, and while digging, he sees a snake with a human head. Kim becomes scared. As Kim's shovel hits something hard, he digs further and discovers another coffin buried vertically. He calls for help, and together they manage to extract the coffin. It is large and wrapped in barbed wire. They take the coffin to the temple and leave it there for the night, creating a protective circle around it to prevent any spirit inside from escaping. Kim calls Mr. Park's aunt to inquire about the coffin. When asked about the coffin, she says she knows nothing about it. Kim says to Mr. Park's aunt, "I heard your father betrayed the people of his country. That's why Monk Gisun punished him." But Mr. Park's aunt says, "Why would Gisun punish my father? He was Japanese." Kim is worried. At night, everyone goes to sleep, but Hua Rim stays awake chanting for his dead grandmother. Hua Rim communicates with her spirit, who had been a powerful shaman. Meanwhile, Bongil dreams of the temple worker standing over him, repeatedly saying, "He took my liver." When Bongil recites some incantations, the figure disappears. Realizing something, Bongil goes to the temple to look for the man, but can't find him. Peeking inside, he sees a 7-foot-tall creature devouring someone. Terrified, Bongil hurries away and calls Hua Rim, but Hua Rim's grandmother's spirit advises him not to go. Nevertheless, Hua Rim goes with Bongil. They open the barn house door, and a foul smell comes from inside. They see that the coffin is completely broken from the top, indicating that the spirit has broken out of it. The roof of the house is also broken. Bongil goes to call the others while Hua Rim checks the coffin and finds a Japanese samurai helmet inside, which makes her feel very uneasy. Just then, the demon appears outside the door, and Hua Rim hides. Upon seeing it, the demon says, "Who's there? Is there a human inside?" Hua Rim bows her head and says, "I am your servant." The demon asks her, "Did you bring sweet fish for me?" Hua Rim replies, "No." Realizing there were humans present, the demon tries to kill her. Just then, Bongil saves Hua Rim by thrusting an iron rod into the demon's stomach. However, the demon is so fierce and powerful that Bongil can't escape its grip. The demon tears open Bongil's abdomen and then turns towards Hua Rim. Suddenly, the rooster crows, signaling that morning has come. At that moment, the others arrive. The demon suddenly transforms into a fireball. Through the flames, they see several visions. As the fireball spins around, it heads towards Mr. Park's grandfather's grave. Later, Bongil is swiftly admitted to the hospital, his condition critical. In that moment of despair, Kim mutters, "If I hadn't retrieved that coffin, this wouldn't have happened." Consumed with guilt, Kim returns to the temple in search of clues but finds nothing. Meanwhile, Bongil, now possessed by a demon spirit, becomes the center of a ritual led by Hua Rim, her sister, and another ally. "Who are you?" Hua Rim demands. Bongil responds with a chilling revelation. "I am his servant. He is my master who killed 10,000 people, which granted him divine power. He guards that place." Meanwhile, Kim, driven by fear and curiosity, returns to the site and discovers the demon's resting place, where it sleeps by day and awakens by night. Terrified, Kim rushes back to the hotel, recounting to Hua Rim Park's ominous last words about a fox striking the tiger's waist. Kim realizes the Korean map resembles a tiger, with the waist symbolizing the location of Park's grandfather's grave. The fox, Munchisu, was a Japanese figure from the Japan-Korea War, aiming to disrupt Korea's energy by planting enchanted rods in its mountains. These so-called grave robbers were actually patriots destroying the metal amulets to maintain Korea's positive energy. However, the last metal piece remained elusive. Kim suspects the final piece lies beneath Park's grandfather's grave, protected by the demon. Ji-soon had cunningly instructed that Park's grandfather be buried there, knowing his royal status would deter anyone from disturbing the grave. The metal piece was hidden beneath it. They also understand that the demon cannot kill Bongil because his entire body was tattooed with spells. To save Korea and Bongil, the final rod must be destroyed and the demon killed. A plan is hatched. Hua Rim's sister stays with Bongil to protect him, while the rest head to the grave to confront the demon. They replicate the protective tattoos on their bodies, ensuring the demon cannot attack them. The strategy involves distracting the demon long enough for Kim to dig up and destroy the metal piece. They scatter sweet fish to attract and confuse the ghosts. As night falls, the demon awakens and pursues Hua Rim, lured by the sweet fish. Hua Rim, speaking in Japanese, tries to disorient the demon, while Kim digs relentlessly but finds nothing. The demon advances to kill Hua Rim, but her grandmother's spirit appears, halting the demon, who does not consider souls as enemies. Transforming into a fireball, the demon heads back to the grave, where Kim stands alone, lost in thought. The demon approaches, offering a grim choice. "Do you want to be my slave or give me your liver?" It plunges a sharp hand into Kim's stomach. Desperate to save Kim, Hua Rim pours enchanted horse blood on the demon, causing it to burn. In a sudden realization, Kim understands the final metal piece is the demon itself. As the demon strangles them, visions reveal its origin. The Japanese shaman Jisoo chose the body of a general who had killed 10,000 people, embodying immense negative energy. They performed a ritual with a sword that had killed 10,000 men, inserted it into the general's throat, and sewed up his head, bearing the body upright with Park's grandfather on top to conceal it. Kim devises a plan to kill the demon using the concept of opposites. Wetting wood with his own blood, he strikes the demon with all his might, splitting it in two. Bongil is freed from possession. Kim's critical condition lands him in the hospital, but both he and Bongil begin to recover. Life gradually returns to normal and everyone resumes their daily routines. In the final scene, the movie concludes with Kim attending his daughter's wedding, surrounded by loved ones. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave us a like if you like this video and subscribe for more awesome content.